Hey, what's going on this Sunday afternoon, guys? This is Frank Rock. This is the House Florida Sports Channel. This is your Tennessee versus Austin Peay live post-game show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thanks for tuning in with us last night after that freaking game with Georgia. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. You share it out. If you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Get the latest notifications. We'll be live again tomorrow night. Monday night or Monday night show. We'll talk some football. We'll talk Georgia. We'll talk the rest of the way. We'll talk playoffs along the way. Lauren Hurst, if you're a Lady Vols fan, commits. She makes her announcement tomorrow. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I'm going to record a video here in just a few minutes. That way, when she makes the announcement, if she does what I'm expecting she'll do, that video will be ready to rock and roll. I think Lady Vols about to get some more good news again tomorrow. But we're talking men's basketball today. And Tennessee 103-68. They hit the 100, hit the old century mark. And, man, this is a pretty good basketball team, guys. Said it coming in. I made a video before the season. I said, is this Rick Barnes' year? Is this his year right here? Reese Winters, Igor's a beast. He's more versatile than Connect was, and Felix is actually a post presence. If any of you have listened to my videos over the course, when Tennessee got Igor Milicic out of the portal, leading up in the summer, talking about it, I've been big on this dude's game. I've did videos where I've looked at his film when he played for Charlotte, just looked at stuff, and this guy can play, man. He's definitely more versatile than Connect. I agree with that. I mean, I don't know that he's going to be as good as Connect along the way, but still, man, there's nothing he can't do. He can dribble, he can shoot, he can pass, he can rebound, he can block. I mean, we saw he took off down the lane and dunked with authority later in the game with about 6 minutes to go, I think it was. Guy can play. What a pickup. And Chaz Lanier got, a lot of the pub for the transfer portal pickups. Igor Milicic Jr. was a phenomenal pickup for them. Today, 23 points, 9 boards, 4 assists, did have 2 turnovers, but he had 2 blocks as well in 30 minutes of time today. And just looking at it as well. So, you look at what Tennessee did today, 103-68, and that was with Chaz Lanier only going for 5 points. Chaz Lanier, of course, I think a lot of us expect Chaz Lanier is going to be the leading scorer for the year. But I'll tell you what, man, Igor Milicic, again, I've been high on this guy in his game. I think he fits perfect with what Rick Barnes does. And Steve Hamer mentioned it at one point. You get by Felix Okpara, well, you've got 6'10" Igor Milicic waiting on you as well. Been waiting for Igor to break out. I knew he would be a breakout. So, guy can play. He can play. What's up, Himothy? 103, go Vols. That one-arm guy is pretty good. Man, that is one of the most impressive things I've seen for Austin Peay. So it was Emmanuel, the guy. That pretty nice little basketball player for what he does. And he had 5 points. He had a rebound and assist, 2 blocks, 1 steal, no turnovers. That's a special player right there based on what he did. Hats off to him for just doing his thing, man. And they talked about it. Video of him getting out of high school. He had originally committed to Northwestern State. Austin Peay got him. And he, Austin Peay too, it said they're picked to finish second in the Atlantic Sun. They beat Butler just a couple weeks ago. So this is not like Tennessee played some bum team today. They're supposed to be a pretty good mid-major team along the way. Now, I don't know where you would rate them in the grand scheme of things, but still, yeah, you're picked second in a mid-major conference. That's not a bad team along the way. I was kind of surprised. I thought we may see Dubar again today. We still have not seen him. And yeah, he will add to it. Of course, JP Estrella was out today with an injury. Also, here's the thing. Down the stretch, this might be a really good team down the stretch. A pretty good team now. But we got to think now they're still working out the kinks. They're still getting used to one another. You're still, fitting your transfer guys. You're fitting Bishop Boswell in, a guy who I think his minutes will continue to go up a little bit as they go. I know Tennessee's really high on him based on what they're saying, but you're incorporating Chaz Lanier, you're incorporating Akpara, you're incorporating Igor Milicic, and then Dubar. I mean, once he gets good to go, he's going to add to this team. That was a good pickup as well once everything gets going for him also. Yes, Ben Revere, what's up, man? The toughness Akpara brings adds a dimension that Adu never could. And, I mean, we saw it. Pretty much every game Tennessee lost last year, it was because they got dominated at the center position. The last game of the year against Purdue, while Zach Edey is being able to do whatever he wants to, Jonas Adu sitting over on the sideline with the towel over his head, while Tobe Awaka is trying to do all he can. And then JP Estrella is coming in, who's not played a ton of minutes on the season, doing the best he can, while our all SEC center at the time goes over and lays down and pouts because he's getting pushed around for the night. And, you know, I never heard anything after that it was injury related or anything. It was just a case of useless that game. That's what it was. And I said it that day after that game. I said, if Adu hits the portal, so be it. And, you know, we'll see him here in January when Arkansas comes to Knoxville. And I know Adu's not been playing enough. He apparently is battling an injury. So that's why his minutes have not been much at Arkansas so far. But on this current team, though, I mean, you look at it, today's stats. Let me share the screen here. We'll look at them together. It was, I think you had six. Chaz Lanier was not even in double digits, and you still had six guys in double digits. That's a pretty good day for Tennessee. Let's see. Here we go. 103-68. Here's your lines here. Lanier, 5 points, 1 out of 6, 3 out of 4 free throws, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 steals. Rick Barnes will be really happy with that. I guarantee you, Rick Barnes, you look at him today, he will take that all day long with Chaz Lanier playing that kind of defense. Zakai Ziegler, 19 points. He had a really good game. 3 boards, 8 assists, had the 2 turnovers. What about that block he had? My goodness. He got up and swatted that. That was just a great play all around. He blocks it. Boswell tips it out. They get it going. And then Boswell hit Gainey. Boswell should have had 2 assists in a row. Gainey missed the layup the play before, but he finished and got the and one on that one. But or he didn't get the and one. He missed it, but he got his own rebound on it. Ziegler, while he was on the court today, Tennessee was plus 43. That's insane. That is absolute insane what he did today. Milicic, 23 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 turnovers, 2 blocks, no steals, 30 minutes, 42, plus minus 42. A plus minus 42 and 43. I'm telling you guys, that's some really good basketball right there that those 2 guys played today. Jemai Meshack had 10 points. How about him getting to the free throw line? 8 out of 10. I like it. I like that game. Jemai Meshack could go for 10 to 15 points a night. I'm telling you, he can. He has the game to be able to do it. 3 boards, 2 assists, 1 block, 2 steals, plus minus 22 on the night. Akpara, 12 points, 7 boards, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, 3 blocks, 1 steal, plus minus 6 while he was on the court. That's kind of interesting to me that it wasn't bigger than that. Boswell, no points. He did have a board. He should have had 4 assists in 4 minutes, plus minus 6. Jordan Gainey, I thought he played some good basketball today. 15 points, 2 boards, 2 assists, 1 steal, plus minus 21. Cade Phillips, I thought, played a really good basketball game. 13 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, did have 2 turnovers, 1 block, plus minus 20. And then here you had Duncan. Grant Hurst got him some points at the end. There, got him a layup in it. There was Paul, nothing. Cam Carr had 4 points today. I hope Cam Carr, I'm kind of curious to hear what they say on Cam Carr's injuries. He got hit. I don't know if it was so much when they swiped at him that the swipe hurt him. I don't know if when he went down it hurt, but the way he was favored, it looked like that thumb. And he missed the 1 free throw, and he's a good free throw shooter as well. And then he come out of the game immediately after he hit that second one. So I'm hoping it's just nothing serious with it. But it looked a little bit concerning. in my opinion. But they have a few days off before they play Virginia in the Bahamas on Thursday. So hopefully Cam Carr will be good to go then. And I'm excited for those games in the Bahamas because I think that's going to be Tennessee's. Really, I thought Louisville would be a test. Tennessee handled them. They handled them from start to end. I think that's going to be their first test against Virginia on Thursday, and then they'll play the Baylor or St. John's on Friday. Cade Phillips and his game, the work he's put in, they talked about it in the offseason. He's done a great job. You can tell he put in the work. And I think Awaka is probably better on the boards than Cade Phillips. But I'll be honest, I think Cade Phillips has a much better all-around game than Awaka. Awaka, to me, is a guy he can score if you hit him down low. Cade Phillips can run the court good. I hadn't seen much shooting. He can step out and shoot the ball, too. I definitely think he can add more than Awaka down the stretch. Got some good stuff on here. What's up, Hamilton? Thanks for tuning in. Thank you guys for tuning in, going live. I mean, if nobody was watching, it wouldn't be worth going live. We got 29 on here right now. It's a pretty good little amount for basketball, especially after this. So the basketball crowds, they're kind of hit and miss. The bigger games, I think there'll be more of these games like this. There's not as many. It looks like 12 watching through Twitter. Thank you guys that are watching on Twitter. Those of you watching through YouTube as well. Or if you're watching through, nobody's watching through Instagram. It is available to be watched on Instagram. Also, looks like we got 18 watching on. I'm sorry, my nose keeps itching, so I apologize on that. To keep looking at that. Karesha, I hope I said that right, said, want to see Meshack get downhill more like he did today, get to the free throw line. He has the body to do it. He's probably, I would venture to say, one of the strongest guys, pound for pound, maybe the strongest guy on the team. I don't know that as far as their weight room numbers or anything, but this dude, you can see guys can't hardly back him down. That's the thing that makes him such a good defender. You run in to Jemai Meshack, you're going backward. You're going backward against him. Ziegler, I'm curious to see, would a team take a second round? He will at least get invited to somebody's camp. I think at worst case, he gets invited to a camp. I mean, Vescovi and Josiah Jordan James got invited, played summer ball. Let's see, who was it with? The Warriors. One of them was with the Warriors. I think, I'm trying to think who. Was it the Kings? I can't remember off the top of my head there as well. But I think Zakai he'll get some kind of look along the way. I mean, I could see it getting to the point of, could he get a two-way contract possibly? I mean, you never know. He can play. He can play. His 4 years in this system, he's going to come in. He is a little shorter, but he's put together well. He is very well built. I mean, his dribbling skills, you saw some of those moves he did dribbling today. I mean, he can dribble circles around guys. He can shoot. Good assist guy. I mean, he started out a little wild with his turnovers, but last couple games he's gotten that in gear. I'm curious to see I'm curious to see a lot of these guys. I mean, with Chaz Lanier, with Igor Milicic, with Ziegler, all those guys will be gone. Dubar, if he works his way back in, how will he factor in as well? Tennessee's going to lose some good talent after this season as well. They need to add more through the high school class. They're going to have to hit that portal very hard as well. Let's see. I feel like our scoring is more spread out than it has been in years past. I think so, and I don't think it's going to be consistently like last year where it was Dalton Connect pretty much every night, the leading scorer. Not every game, obviously, but majority of the games he was the leading scorer. Like tonight, the last two games, it's been Milicic. When they go down to the Bahamas, it could be Chaz Lanier on Thursday. I think it'll rotate back and forth a little bit between Milicic and Lanier. There'll be nights Ziegler leads the team in scoring. I could see possibly Jordan Gainey having some nights he leads the team in scoring. I think that's going to be your main guys with it. I mean, Akpara, there'll be a night or two along the way where Akpara goes for 20 points or so. I really think he will. Meshack, I mean, I don't know that we'll see Meshack as a leading scorer at any point, but I would not be surprised to see him consistently being able to hit double-digit points this year. Yeah, it's definitely a versatile team. That's what I liked about this team coming in. That's why I did the video. I said, is this Rick Barnes' year that he could win a national championship? And I don't know, Jimmy Dykes. You guys probably know Jimmy Dykes, ESPN. His preseason top 5, he had Tennessee in his preseason top 5. And, of course, they didn't get the love from the AP, the coaches' polls, or whatever polls it is now. But, in one poll, they're 9th right now, one they're 11th. But Dykes said coming in, this Tennessee team is going to be really good this year. And, of course, he's seen them. He's been to watch their practice. I think Dykes even lives in Knoxville now, possibly. He's high on this team. The SEC in general is going to be possibly the best conference this year. I thought it was last year. They didn't show out the best in the NCAA tournament. They did okay, but I think this year, top to bottom, I would put the SEC up against anybody in basketball. I really would right now. Let's see where we're at here. We got 35. I probably won't go too long today. I'll probably talk basketball here just a few more minutes. We might have a 5-minute vent. If anybody wants to talk football, anybody wants to talk playoffs, we may have about 5 to 10 minutes that we'll get into that. Biggest flaw right now, finding that backup guard. ZZ's presence off the court is noticeable. I agree. His numbers today, and I mentioned on there again, plus minus of 43. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy numbers, how much better they were with him and Milicic on the court today. Gainey runs it some. I think he looks pretty good. I'll be curious to see, do they put Boswell in more because they like his game, his defense. So could he possibly get a little more run? Be curious to see what he does against the better competition. That's where we're going to learn more about, I think, your Boswells, your Cade Phillips, your Cam Carrs. They can do it against Austin Peay. Can they do it against a Virginia, a Baylor, a St. John's, somebody like that? That's going to be the true test. That's, to me, where Dalton Connect really stood out last year. Yeah, he could do it against Austin Peay or somebody like that, but he also, he scored against in the NCAA tournament, in SEC play or whatever. He put the team on his back a lot of times against South Carolina, against Auburn. That's where we're going to know who we've got. That's where we're going to know our players at. Can Igor Milicic do it against the bulk of the SEC? Can Felix Okpara do it against the bulk of the SEC? That's kind of where we're at that point. And, this team has looked good so far. They played well against Louisville. They dominated start to finish in that game. They've really, they've had their moments here now. Today, I don't know that I would even say, I always put the term good, bad, and ugly on it. One of my dad and I's favorite movies. We watched it a ton growing up, but it always plays into things. But today, I don't know that there's anything I'd really put in the ugly, and there's really nothing I'd even put in the bad today. As far as shooting percentages go, let's see what we got here. Here we go. We'll look at the split box. So percentages, let me share the screen, kind of look at these. This will tell a little more of the tell of it as well. Can we get Barnes to talk to Tim Banks about defensive strategy? Rick, hopefully Tim Banks was in attendance today to see how you play defense, for sure, especially when it's needed along the way. Let's see here. Pull this back up. So we're looking at the team comparison. 64% field goals today for Tennessee. 36% from three-point range. Only 5 out of 14. I like that because you guys know good and well there's going to be nights where they're probably going to shoot close to 30, if not more than that, as far as three-pointers go. They didn't need to tonight. Free throws, 24 out of 33. What that tells me is this team's getting to the basket. That is what I like to see out of a lot of these guys. I think a lot of us were pretty critical of that last year, that I felt like Connect was really the only one. Josiah Jordan James, it was very rare he would do it, and I thought that was his game, but he didn't play it that way. 24 out of 33 from the free throw line. They're getting to the basket. 25 points off of 13 turnovers, 43 rebounds to 25. Tennessee lost the rebounding battle against Gardner-Webb. They've dominated ever since. You can rest assured Rick Barnes beat that home with them 64 points in the paint today. Of course, bench points 34 to 13. Fast break points 27 for Tennessee, only 6 for Austin Peay. It's been like this every game that these opposing teams are not getting fast break points on this team. They're getting back and making things happen. 10 steals, 22 assists to 11 turnovers. That's a 2-to-1 ratio. I'll take that all day long. Obviously, you'd probably like to see the turnovers a little bit lower, but a very efficient day, all up and down the scoreboard, all up and down it. Want to look here as well at the analytics, the efficiency ratings on the day, who graded out. I mean, no surprise, Milicic was the most efficient today at 32, Ziegler at 29, Cade Phillips, Okpara tied for third at 18, Gainey, Meshack tied for fifth at 15. So definitely a very efficient game. And here's all these offensive analytics. Their 3-point goals, their efficiency field goal. I mean, you can see here Ziegler on the day 7 out of 8. That's a really good day for him. Their offensive ratings. I mean, I don't really know what exactly this stat is because it's showing Boswell at 213.5, and I'm guessing that's probably I'm thinking of, it factors a little bit of everything in. I need to look that up to see what it is because he had the 3 assists in just 4 minutes. Should have had 4 assists. Actually, Gainey missed the layup on it. But lots of good numbers here. I mean, Okpara's were lower. Chaz Lanier's were lower, but all these guys were anywhere from 121 up to 213. That's pretty good. Cam Carr's were lower today as well. Defensive metrics. I mean, here's your defensive rating. I apologize again for I'm not having a nervous twitch or anything. Something keeps tickling my nose here. Where Cam Carr, his offensive efficiency was lower at 55.6, defensive rating 139.2. He was the most efficient defensive guy on the court today, according to these metrics. Gainey, Ziegler, Meshack, all of them. Duncan, the walk-on in his time on there, graded out pretty well. There's some interesting metrics. Like I said, I'll be honest, I don't know what every single one of them means, but it's still pretty good. Let's see here. What else we got here? Gave up on balls, football, and ready to turn my folks to basketball. It's I wouldn't give up on them just yet. I think there's still a real good chance to go 10-2. I understand the frustration last night. I'm frustrated as well. I thought it was a very winnable game. But this coaching staff, man, we're going to have a little vent time here in a minute. We'll talk all the football you want. Let me hit the rest of this stuff here. Bob Franklin, what's going on, Bob? This game took a little of that Georgia dirt out my soul. Great game. Didn't need the 3. Go big orange. Thank you, Bob, for your generosity. Definitely appreciate that along the way as well. All right, we'll get to football. We'll give it here just a couple more minutes. So again, Tennessee basketball. We'll put a bow on this thing. We'll put it under the Christmas tree here. Thursday they play Virginia 9:30. I'm gonna have to see on that one. I would still like to go live on it, even though it's gonna be closer to midnight. We may do a little bit of one. I do have to work Friday, but it is what it is. That's going to be Tennessee, in my opinion, their biggest game of the year so far. So I would really like to kind of go live for a little bit on that one. And then Friday, it's going to depend if Tennessee wins. I think I saw they'll play at like 8 o'clock Friday night. If they lose, they'll play at like 2 to 2:30. So they'll play. If they win, they'll play the winner of Baylor or St. John's. Obviously, if they lose, they'll play the loser of that game. So that'll happen on Thursday and Friday. Lady Vols, if I'm not mistaken, they are off until the 26th. So they've got about a 10-day break right now. Let me see who it is. Tennessee has got. I don't know this logo here. They play after they come back from the Bahamas. They have UT Martin. That's who it is. UT Martin. Then Syracuse and Knoxville, Miami, Madison Square Garden, Illinois. That could be three interesting games. Syracuse, Miami, in New York, and then Illinois at Illinois. That's a pretty good basketball team. That'll be a tough game on the road. They conclude with Western Carolina, Middle Tennessee State, Norfolk State, and then they get into SEC play. December 31st against Norfolk State will be the last non-conference game. Then it's strictly SEC play. January 4th, Arkansas comes to town. John Calipari, Jonas Adu. That's kind of where we're at that point in time. So I'm going to wrap up basketball chat. We're going to go about to the 35-minute mark. I got 26. You guys want to talk football right now? Let's talk some football. Let's air this thing out here. Obviously we talked it last night. We were up late, 31-17, and my biggest thing I've got today, I did my next day this morning, and I don't understand what this coaching staff, some of these game plans that they come up with. But is it all on the coaching staff? No, it's not the coaching staff's fault when a guy drops a pass that would have been a first down, or at least a couple of passes along the way. It's not their faults when a guy whiffs on a block. But at the same time, their game plan, Ole Miss gave you the blueprint last week on how to play Georgia on defense. Yeah, is Georgia going to make adjustments? Sure. But I feel Tennessee, it's like you give Tennessee a blueprint and they're like, I don't need it. We're going to go our own way. We're going to prove we're going to do things our way. I don't know if that's ego. I don't know what it is, but I'm not going to jump too much on the defense. They had a bad game last night, but they carried the offense how many times this year? They were going to have that game on it. All right, John, it's time for you to hit the road, bud. See you later. All right. So now, I don't know, man. I just don't know. Some good comments here. Rodney Fultz, I can't remember the guy's name who's the lead announcer. The color guy was Steve Hamer. And you guys that's watched Tennessee basketball back, Hamer was there, was it early 90s? 80s, possibly, when Steve Hamer was there? He was a good player. Hamer went on to play for the Boston Celtics along the way. Probably some of you in here definitely remember Steve Hamer. Some of you may not. He was a good player. I saw him actually when I went to the NC State game this year in Charlotte. They did like a alumni tailgate with it. And Steve Hamer was there walking around. He was at the game. So always good to see him around. Glad he's still around with the program. I think he has called all three of the SEC Network Plus games. It's been the same guys, and I can't remember the dude who's the lead. He's called the Lady Vols games also, but Hamer's been the color guy. I don't think they were for the Louisville game. I wasn't even able to watch that game, so I'm not sure who called that one. But, yep, definitely Steve Hamer on that one. All right, let's see here. Devin Arnold, sometimes it feels like the coaching staff might spend too much time game plan trying to outthink the opposing coaches doing what'll work. The one that's killing me right now, and they did it again last night. They did it against Kentucky. They did it against Mississippi State. It's around the 40-yard line. In that 35 to 45, give or take. They'll get third, 5, 6, or 7. I can tell you a freaking draw is coming, and here they go. I think we've all seen it enough to know they're not fooling anybody. I don't know if they think they're being slick or cute or anything like that, but it's not doing anything. It's not fooling anybody along the way. And what's it leading to? Either a punt or a long field goal every time. Hats off to Max Gilbert for bouncing back 2 weeks in a row. I don't want to have to rely on Max Gilbert, though, especially when Boo Carter gets you to the 37-yard line, and then you can't get it any further, or maybe you get it a couple yards. They got 2 yards further because it was a 52-yard field goal on it. But I don't know, guys. If we finish 10-2, which I think we should, that's still a good year. But, man, it just feels like I think we can all agree this team, I don't know that they've really played a complete football game this year. I mean, NC State, they played pretty well, but NC State's not that good. Oklahoma, not that good. Arkansas sucks. We went and lost to them. I mean, Arkansas fans trying to tell me they were going to go 10-2. We had no business. That loss could be what keeps us out of the playoffs. Now, it's going to get past Vandy in 2 weeks at home. It won't be easy. And I definitely expect it'll be a nail-biter. It won't be a blowout. At least not. I don't see it being a blowout either way on that game. But I think it'll be, even if Tennessee were to make the playoffs, go in and lose the first game, I still think I would rather do that than go play in the Citrus Bowl. I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer to me. I'm okay when they come in for game plan doesn't work, but I'm not okay if they don't bother to make adjustments during the game. Yeah, absolutely. Not all game plans are going to work from the beginning, but that's it. I don't see many adjustments. I never saw them what I felt really adjusting to what Georgia was doing. Mike Bobo adjusted and really called a good game for Georgia. They found so once Carson Beck hit the one deep pass, it was on after that. He lit Tennessee's defense up. I mean, Jermod McCoy, it goes through his hands. You have to get that interception on the road. I mean, Tennessee's DBs had a rough night. Their linebackers have been rough for a few weeks. Now, there's talent. It's young. They really miss Keenan Peay, though. I don't think it's a coincidence that things are starting to happen since Keenan Peay has went out. And I can't remember which game it was exactly that he got that injury and went out. Now, was it Florida, if I'm not mistaken? But, I mean, they bounced back and played possibly their best defensive game of the year against Alabama. I mean, they really shut Milroe and that team down. They were a lot better. It should have been more if their offense could have done anything. But, you know, they started out good on offense, could not finish. And this team just shoots itself in the foot. Josh Heupel is got some good comments on here. If it wasn't for the defense, we would have already lost 5 games this year. Yeah. Yep, that's right. If it wasn't for the defense, could have lost Oklahoma possibly. Probably would have lost Florida. Probably would have lost Alabama. What else am I forgetting here? I mean, Kentucky, Mississippi State. I mean, those were closer games. Mississippi State, Kentucky would have probably been a little more interesting. Even though I didn't think the defense was great in that game. But Tennessee easily could have had 4 or 5 losses this year. I don't think there's any doubt about that if it wasn't for the defense. So they didn't have their best night last night, but still, I mean, the biggest thing too for me, wide receivers. These wide, they're supposed to be talent. And the fact that we can't get Mike Matthews on the field, somebody's got to explain that to me. What is anybody else doing that we're not getting Mike Matthews on the field? Maybe it's an urban legend at this point of Mike Matthews, but these wide receivers, who's getting it done consistently? Nobody. Nobody is. I mean, unless Nico's just missing guys. I don't know on that. But these wide receivers to me 2 years in a row now have underachieved. And yep, Beck picked them apart all night. Pull out our TD by 5 total by the wide receiver, and the tight ends are Dylan Sampson. That's an interesting. I want to look at that, actually, those stats on the season. That's a good point because, let's see, Bruce still doesn't have a touchdown on the season. Thornton has some. Let's look at some stats on here. That's a good point, Reese. And I always laugh every time I see it's not funny, but it is. Every time I see Boo Carter take a good punt return, I know Reese Winters is going to be fired up about that squirrel white punt return at Arkansas that really almost cost us the game. But, yep. Let's see here. Let's look at these stats here. All right, looking at, wins and losses. touchdowns. Dylan Sampson, 21. There's your running backs. 28 total touchdowns. Bishop, 3. Iamaliava, 1. Lewis, 1. Khalifa Keith had a touchdown. Then Miles Kitzelman with the touchdown last night. Nico has thrown 11 touchdowns on the year. 1 by Squirrel White, 2 by Chris Brazel, 4 by Thornton, 3 by Kitzelman, 1 by Stays, 1 by Ethan Davis, 1 by Mike Matthews. And that's it. So they have 8 touchdowns by their wide receivers and 5 by their tight ends. That's not acceptable to me. That is just not acceptable to me. Josh Heupel is going to have to, at the conclusion of this season. Now, if they were to go on a big roll, the offense does start clicking, and they they do make the playoffs, they get to the semifinals, the finals, or even win it, which I don't see happening. But in the event that they get on that run and do it, we probably won't have a lot to say. But I think Josh Heupel is going to have to really look at this offense after this season and determine, do I have the right guys to develop and get this offense back? He's got to be livid with the way this offense has now looked 2 years in a row. I mean, this is not a Heupel offense. And I still wonder, did that offense leave with Hendon Hooker and or Alex Golesh? Maybe it was a combination of the two. Maybe that offense is down in South Florida as well. But Josh Heupel needs to fix it. And the play calling, they need some creativity. They rarely ever run outside. It's everything up the middle. I mean, the passes they kept showing last night were long, developing plays. When the other team is pressuring the piss out of you, you don't continue calling long, developing plays. You got to have some quick slants. You got to have, I don't know, some wide receiver screens or something. But there's no adjustments to it. And I don't know. I'll say this. If Mike Matthews were to come up and hit the portal, and I hope he doesn't, because I would think he's got to be a starter next year. But at the same time, I would think he's got to be in the rotation now. And I don't even know if he played any snaps. I definitely don't remember seeing him on the field last night. But guys keep dropping passes. Guys keep not making plays along the way. Why can't we give some youth a chance? I don't get it. Don't like it. Don't get it. But that's this coaching staff. They are reluctant to play youth. For every Boo Carter, there's a Mike Matthews on the bench. Boo is really the exception rather than the norm right now. I mean, there's not any that I'm aware of unless you're starting to see more Peyton Lewis, which is good. But other than that, I mean, that's really about it. I mean, next year with losing so many offensive linemen, David Sanders Jr., I would think from the moment his car gets on campus, he's a starter. I don't think there's any doubt about it. I think you're looking at Sanders, Umaroff, Satterwhite, portal guy at left guard, Lance Hurd left tackle. I think that's your offensive line next year. And if Glenn Ellerby is back, we're going to find out how good he is at developing talent. We're going to find out a lot next year because most of these guys, let's see, Campbell's transfer, Spraggins, Mays, Dane Davis, Lampley, all guys who recruited, come in during Jeremy Pruitt, Hurd, portal, Carriage, portal. So can they develop their own guys who they've recruited, come in from high school? I think that's a big question with this staff because as of right now, I don't see any that they've done. And maybe I'm forgetting someone, but all of them, to me, they're guys who were either here or they've gotten through the portal. So to me, the question is definitely still out on Glenn Ellerby. Can he develop this talent? Josh Heupel trusts him, but Josh Heupel trusts him, Joey Halsley, Kelsey Pope, all three of those guys. They need to all sit down and figure it out in this offseason. When it gets there, we still got a ways to go. I'm not wishing the season away by any means. I'm not giving up on this team. I still think there's a case. You finish off and beat Vanderbilt. We get some help, hopefully. And all you got to do is sneak in. That's all you got to do is sneak in to the playoffs. There's still a path to it. I don't think the book is closed on it yet. It might take some help, but It is what it is. I think I saw this too. The longest pass last night was 17 yards. Georgia was playing deep. A lot of the video and stuff I saw was showing Georgia playing deep. So, but if they're playing deep, you throw short. You throw a slant or something. You don't keep trying to run deep plays. I mean, it is what it is. It's just another year, same old crap, just another year. This team's got to learn how to make adjustments. This coaching staff's got to learn how to make adjustments. They got to learn how to play a full game. But they're still a young team, and well, I don't know. That's an excuse. They got beat last night. That is the bottom line. They got beat, and that's all it is to it. What's up, Vol fan? 2024's basketball team is legit. I totally agree with you. I think they're going to be a lot of fun to watch this year. They're off to a good start. I'm excited to watch them Thursday night and Friday night. That'll be their best competition they've played so far. It is on a neutral site or neutral court. So I think we'll find out a lot more about this team in the Bahamas this coming week. We're about 42 minutes in, and we'll wrap up on that one. We will be live tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Carrie, myself, we'll go from there. If you ever have any interest, you feel you would be good at this, all right? And this is not a facetious comment by any means or anything. You've thought about, hey, man, I'd like to try this out. I think I would have a voice for something. Shoot me an email, the orangeswarm10@gmail.com. I'm looking to add some guys, some people, not just guys, women too. Anybody. If you're good, you're good. Bottom line, if you're interested, think you'd be good, we might test it out and see. Can't make any promises. I will be pretty strict on who I bring on as far as like I have a relationship with Carrie going back 10 years. He was actually one of my former students when he was in middle school. It's a funny thing on it. Backwoods has come on. Backwoods is really good. I wish we'd get him on more, but I know he is covered up with things really busy. But I'd love to get him on more as well. But if you are interested, shoot me an email, the orangeswarm10@gmail.com. Love to get a little pack of people on here to talk different sports. I'm like I said earlier, Lady Vols tomorrow. Watch out, Lauren Hurst, top player in the state of Tennessee. She makes her announcement. I'm thinking good things are going to happen tomorrow on that, and I'll release a video sometime after she makes her announcement. I don't know the exact time on it right now, but I'll try to have that ready to go for you. 8 o'clock tomorrow night. We'll talk the Georgia game. We'll talk playoffs. We'll talk the road ahead and what they need as well. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. This is the House of Orange. Frank Rock. Last but most certainly not least, go Vols.